waiting for cars to go by because we're in the noisiest street in all of LA. I don't know what it is about this street, but sound just echoes, and it's very frustrating.
3, 2, 1, go.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick Murphy. I'm one half of the brothers Murph, and this is Metagame Minute. Metagame Minute is a weekly segment where Mike or I talk about anything we want to talk about in board gaming today. I wonder how many times I've said that exact sentence. Probably like, I wonder how many Metagame Minutes we've actually done at this point. It's probably a lot. It's probably a lot. We're always like, we're going to run out someday. You'll never run out of stuff to talk about with board games. Nick, you love board games too dang much. This week, I want to talk about something in board games that has been around for a while. It's not new, but it's Mike and I are both starting to utilize this more, and I am very surprised at how much I am enjoying it. And that is digital board games. And what I mean by that is not like apps, not like the Castles of Burgundy app or this app or this app. I'm not talking about app versions of board games, although they kind of fall in the same way, but I'm specifically talking about something like Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia, Board Game Arena. I know there's a German one that I can't remember the name of right now because it's in German. But nonetheless, there are a bunch of these different kinds of websites, or you can get them on Steam. A lot of times you can get like Tabletop Simulator on Steam or Tabletopia. You can use it in a browser or a website. And I want to talk about this because I've always been, my mind always says against them. I've never been against them or against the concept of them. I've just never really gotten it. I've never really been like, I've always just kind of been like, what's the point? Like, I've always understood that, like, if you don't have a game group, like, you're kind of forced to either play solo games or kind of play digitally online with people, which is totally fine. I've always understood that. But we are lucky enough to have a game group, and I understand that is lucky, and I appreciate that, and not everyone does have that. So for me personally, because we have been privileged enough to have a board game group and people we can play games with, because if nothing else, I can always play games with Mike. We've always had that kind of privilege, so it's been nice, and so I've just never understood the point. I've always just been like, why? Like, why would you play a digital version of a board game when, to me, the main point of board games is the social interaction? So, but it's one of those things that, like, we've started playing games on like Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator a little bit, but mostly Tabletopia because that's been our favorite way to play digital games. We started playing them more and more, and I gotta tell you, I really enjoy it. I actually really enjoy playing them. Not as much as I do playing a physical board game with people around a table. Of course not. Like, that, nothing can ever beat that. There's just nothing. There's no equivalent to that. But kind of in the same way where I never really got solo games, because again, I've been lucky enough where I haven't needed to solo games, but I started doing that series, You Can Solo That, and that made me really start to appreciate solo games. And in this way, I've really started to appreciate kind of like digital versions of board games. Because if you're playing like a board game app, like the Castles of Burgundy app or one of those apps, sure, the game is the same, more. It's basically exactly the same, but it just plays different. You don't have a hand of cards. You're not like, it's just things, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same. You're not like looking at a board for the most part. It's just different, which is fine because it's an app version of that game. I think that's totally fine. But with things like Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator, it's literally just a digital version of the board game. It's just, this is the game. It shows you the board. You have to actually pick stuff up and move it. The game doesn't play for you. It's literally just a digital implementation of the game. And I've, again, kind of always like, what's the point? But now that I started playing it, I actually really enjoy it. It is kind of nice to be able to just like sit back in my bed or on the couch and like play a board game, especially if I don't have anyone to play with. And especially because as we've delved more and more into the board game media content creation world, Mike and I both do this full time now, which is super cool and exciting and amazing. But it just means that we're very busy and we don't get to play games nearly as much as we used to. And we just don't get to sit around and play games just for the sake of playing games nearly as much. We have to really schedule it, which is kind of sucks, but it is good because we're making our dreams come alive. We're able to do this for a living, which is amazing. But it's something that's new and something we've had to kind of change and deal with. And I've found that like Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator and stuff is such a good way because Mike and I now can play games together while we're not together. And again, you're like, yeah, Nick, that's literally what everyone has always done with these things. But like, I always kind of figured because I was able to play games in person with people, I never needed that. But it's like, no, it's nice when I don't see Mike for a weekend and, we're texting each other and he's like, hey, man, I got like an hour and a half. You want to play something real quick? And it's like, yeah, man, I'll hop on my computer. You can hop on yours. We voice chat through our Discord. You should join our Discord. Link down in the description below. We voice chat through our Discord. So we're just sitting there hanging out. And sure, we're not hanging out in person, but that social interaction and stuff is still there. And I think I never gave it a good enough chance. Kind of like I never gave solo gaming a good enough chance until I kind of forced myself to with that series. I never really gave the kind of digital board games thing a chance. And I think it's something that you should try if you haven't, because especially if you're kind of like, man, I never get to play as many games as I want to. This is a really great way to do that. And again, this is not new news. And a lot of you are probably kind of like, yeah, Nick, none of this is like, of course, why didn't you figure this out earlier? But I never tried, and I want to talk about how someone who was kind of, again, I don't want to say anti-it, because I wasn't against it. I wasn't against people using it, people doing it. I just never thought it would be for me or have any value in my life, and it totally has. It's been really wonderful, and so I just want to let everyone know. And it's a very quick plug, and this isn't going to be a big Patreon push or anything like that, but the main reason why we've been playing it is because we started, our last goal we hit on our Patreon campaign was to start playing games with our patrons. And the way we do that is through Tabletopia, because then we can play with people all over the world. I was playing with someone on the East Coast the other day. We're playing with people where it's like someone's in Canada, someone's in Germany, someone's in Arizona, and we're all playing together. And and this is not a huge plug for the Patreon, but nonetheless, that is something we do with our patrons. So if you want to play a game with us, it's a good way. There'll be a video about it later this week about the whole thing. But nonetheless, it's like that, kind of like the You Console That, is like I was made to have to start playing games on these platforms because of that, because it's something we wanted to do and we thought it'd be cool. And it's really shown me like how enjoyable it can actually be. So give it a shot if you haven't already. And down in the comments below, let me know, do you play digital games? Do you use Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia, any of these Board Game Arena, any of these kind of sites? Do you use any of them? Do you like them? Are they just not for you? Do you like them a lot? Kind of let me know down in the comments below, because this is an area of board gaming that I have frankly straight up neglected, and I wish I hadn't, because I have a friend date with my friend who lives in Dubai, and we're gonna play a game soon on Tabletopia, and I am so excited to play a game with him, and he lives in Dubai, and that's just so cool that we're gonna get to do that, and I'm very, very excited. And just, if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. It's not quite as weird as you think it's gonna be. And so I've rambled about this way too long, but nonetheless, put down in the comments whether or not you like these kinds of things, or if you've tried them out for yourself. And while you're there, of course, give a thumbs up, share this video, subscribe to us if you haven't already. My name is Nick Murphy of the Brothers Murph. And whether or not you play these kinds of digital board games, or you're just like, nah, Nick, I'm all analog, I'm on the table, moving bits, holding cards, all that kind of stuff. Remember, the more meta, the more better. Thank you for watching that video. Just wanted to let you know that we are sponsored by Restoration Games. They make wonderful, wonderful games, and everything we filmed is filmed on top of Game Toppers. Game Toppers is a great way to upgrade your gaming experience. So go to Restoration Games or Game Toppers LLC to find out more. And all that's really, really cool. But you know what's even cooler? This. That's right. I'll show you one more again. Bam. Isn't that cool? Bam. It's cool. But that's the right hand. Let's check out the left. Boom.
Quack, 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 quack.
That's right, the left is only ducks.
Quack, quack.
I gotta learn other spells for my left hand.
Quack, quack.
Ducks, damn it.